Imagine having a crush 100,000 years ago. No texting, no Instagram, no good morning with a little red heart, no Spotify playlist you made just for them, not even deodorant, just you, a spear, and whatever this guy's wearing. So the real question is, did ancient humans actually have crushes? Well, probably. And honestly, they were probably just as awkward about it as we are. Meet Bob. Bob is our caveman. Bob means well. Bob does not have game. And meet Ugg. Ugg is the handsome idiot who somehow steals everyone's crush despite spending most of his day eating rocks. We don't know how Ugg does it. Nobody knows how Ugg does it. Ugg doesn't even know how Ugg does it. Let's start at the beginning. Did they even fall in love the way we think of it? Picture Bob sitting across the campfire when he sees someone, and suddenly he forgets how to speak, which is unfortunate because humans barely knew how to speak in the first place. Poor guy was working with maybe 12 words total, and at least 4 of them just meant meat. So, how exactly did ancient humans flirt? Today, people post a gym selfie and call it a day. Ancient humans did not have that option. Instead, Bob spent 6 hours wrestling a mammoth, came back exhausted, covered head to toe in mud, thinking, she's definitely going to like me now. Meanwhile, Ugg wanders over, finds a shiny rock, and wins. Again. Nobody knows why the shiny rock works. It just works. Now let's talk beauty standards because those have changed a little. Today, it's cars, money, followers, a six-pack. Back then, the questions were a bit more practical. Could you survive the winter? Could you actually find food? Could you fight off a bear if it came to that? Basically, owning a mammoth back then was the evolutionary equivalent of owning a Lamborghini now. Same flex. Much more dangerous to acquire. And here's where it gets a little sad, because rejection is older than you'd think. Researchers studying the evolution of human bonding, including the work of anthropologist Robin Dunbar on why pair bonds evolved at all, suggest that jealousy and heartbreak go back long before recorded history, long before agriculture, long before villages, possibly long before we even looked the way we look now, which means getting rejected is one of humanity's oldest traditions, right up there with fire and tools. Imagine nearly dying out on a hunt all day, dragging yourself home half frozen, only to find out your crush likes Ugg, who spent the entire afternoon throwing sticks into a river. And then there's the friend zone. Poor Bob. 3 years of bringing berries, 3 years of guarding the camp, 3 years of fighting off wolves at 2 in the morning. And then she finally says it. I just think of you as a friend. Congratulations, Bob. You have just discovered the world's first recorded friend zone. They should put up a plaque. Not everyone in the tribe was brave about this either. Some cavemen probably spent actual years sitting near the fire thinking, tomorrow. I'll talk to her tomorrow. And then tomorrow became next week, and next week became next winter. Some things, it turns out, never change. So did they actually get butterflies? The nervous stomach? The racing heart? All of it? Almost certainly, yes. Scientists who study the biology of attraction generally agree that pair bonding behavior in humans evolved hundreds of thousands of years ago, tied to the same neurochemical systems we still feel today, which means that nervous flutter in your stomach right before you talk to your crush is older than farming, older than money, older than civilization itself, which, when you actually sit with that, is kind of hilarious, because after 100,000 years, we've invented phones, cars, the internet, even artificial intelligence, and somehow humans still turn into complete idiots the second their crush walks into the room. But let's slow down for a second, because falling for someone was never really a private event. Not back then. Anthropologists who study small hunter-gatherer bands point out that most early human groups numbered only a few dozen people. Everyone were related to everyone else by blood or by marriage, everyone sleeping within shouting distance of everyone else. There was no such thing as a secret crush. There was barely such a thing as a secret. So when Bob started acting strange around the fire, the entire tribe knew within the hour. Someone's aunt definitely saw him drop his spear. Someone's cousin definitely told 3 other cousins. By dinner, the whole camp was discussing Bob's love life like it was the only entertainment available, which, to be fair, it basically was. Researchers studying these early social groups, including work by Robin Dunbar on the evolutionary roots of gossip, suggest this kind of talk wasn't just idle fun. It was one of the ways early human bands kept everyone roughly equal. No televisions, no phones, no scrolling. Just a fire, a few dozen people, and an endless supply of opinions about who liked who. Which means the very first rumor mill in human history was almost certainly about somebody's crush. Now, where there's a crush, there's competition. And where there's competition, there's ugh. It's worth asking, at this point, what Bob actually did wrong. He hunted, he gathered, he showed up covered in mud as proof of effort. By any reasonable standard, Bob was trying. Ugh, meanwhile, did none of that. Ugh showed up late. Ugh brought a rock. And somehow, every single time, Ugh walked away with the attention Bob spent all day earning. This is the part of the story where jealousy enters the picture, and it turns out jealousy is not a modern invention either. Some researchers studying the evolution of human bonding argue that jealousy likely evolved as a kind of early warning system, a feeling that shows up specifically when a relationship feels threatened, which means jealousy is, in its own strange way, proof that the bond mattered in the first place. So when Bob stood there, holding his rock, watching Ugg get the attention, what Bob felt wasn't weakness. It was, biologically speaking, a very old and very functional kind of pain. It did not feel that way to Bob. To Bob, it just felt like losing. Again. Eventually, every prehistoric romance reaches the same crossroads every modern one does. It either works out or it doesn't. Let's say, for Bob's sake, that it didn't. Picture the breakup. There's no text message saying it's not you, it's me. There's no slow fade into silence. In a group of 30 people who all live within sight of each other, a breakup is a public event whether anyone wants it to be or not. Bob would have had to watch her walk past the fire every single day, possibly walk past with Ugg, possibly watch Ugg, somehow, still riding the high of his last successful rock. There was no leaving town. There was no blocking anybody. There was just Bob, the fire, and a very long winter ahead of him. And the tribe, predictably, had thoughts about that too. Someone's aunt definitely had an opinion. Someone's cousin definitely brought it up at the worst possible moment. Heartbreak, it turns out, has always come with an audience. Somewhere, 100,000 years ago, Bob was lying awake by the fire thinking, should I talk to her tomorrow? And somewhere tonight, someone is lying awake thinking exactly the same thing. Poor Bob. And honestly, poor all of us. If this kind of thing pulls at your brain the way it pulls at ours, you're exactly who this channel was built for. Qorvix exists to take the strange, ancient parts of being human and pull them apart, piece by piece, until you see them clearly for the first time. So, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us. There's another one of these waiting for you very soon.